Hey, it's me, Atif Myers, here to tell you about Sus Stories, the new podcast where I review weird and crazy comic book storylines. Whether it's the Punisher being black, Kitty Pryde saying slurs, or Luke Cage not getting paid by Dr. Doom, I review it. Also, I give you advice on which comic books you should be investing in and what you should be reading right now. Check it out wherever you find your podcast, Sus Stories, here on the You Don't Even Like Podcast Network. What's up, everybody? It's me, Atif Myers, here for Sus Stories, or with Sus Stories. I'm not here on behalf of my own podcast. That seems pretty weird and egotistical. Anyway, it's fine. That was a slip up. Am I going to keep it in here? Probably. Welcome to Sus Stories, the podcast about weird comic books that I have read or want to read because of this podcast. This podcast is purely a reason for me to buy comic books and justify it to my wife, so she thinks I'm just buying them for a good reason. I'm buying these books for a project that I need. I have 18,000 books for a really big project. It's silly. Anyway, full transparency, I don't know what episode number this is going to be because I have recorded a bunch of other episodes, it's 2 or 3, multiple times, but they were so heavy and it felt weird going back to back between heavy subjects that I just need a fun buffer. This book is a fun buffer. There's no trigger warnings unless you hate shitty books. Again, I think this book is also indicative of why I will never have a guest, because it's weird and it's bad, and I can't make people read that. I'd rather tell you about it so you know to avoid it. I think that's the whole modus operandi, whatever. There's probably an easier way to say that. I don't know why I try to get smart with it. Whatever. It's probably the reason why I think I'm doing this, as it turns out, is I read shitty books so you don't have to. As a comic book fan, I've been like, man, I wonder what that book is like. You know, like, I wonder what it's like. People hate it. I wonder why they hate it. So I read it and I'm like, oh, this is why they hate it. So the book today is Stan Lee's interpretation of Batman. But first, segments. This segment is Spec of the Week. It is X-Men Annual number 14. It is the first appearance of Gambit. And it's disputed because X-Men 266 is like the actual first appearance of Gambit, but it showed up in stores 3 weeks later. Also, that's a more expensive book. That book's like a couple $100 in a good condition, whereas X-Men Annual 14 in a good condition is like 40 or 50. So there you go. There you go. So the book is Just Imagine Batman. It sounds like a Broadway show, right? Like, just imagine Batman. Or it sounds like what you would say to someone who doesn't know who Batman is. You're like, yo, just imagine. There's a Batman. Anyway, the art is by Andy Kubert, so it's good fucking art. The art is good. The vision, however, is Stan Lee. This is Stan Lee's version of Batman, and it makes no fucking sense. So when I was reading this book, I was reading it primarily for this, right? I was like, let me read it. Let me take notes about it, and then let me discuss it. But in doing that, I didn't really get my full thoughts until like 15, 20 minutes after I wrote my notes out. And I was like, God damn, that was actually really bad. It was like, it felt like a court stenographer that I just sat there, took notes, okay. And then afterwards, I was like, oh my God, that was a quadruple murder case. It's so bad, but the art is good. Andy Kubert, fucking great artist. Stan Lee's version of Batman looks like a bat. It's still a dude, but his costume is, let me be the most realistic looking bat ever, even with the fur and like the snout. Like, it's so specific. It's so creepily specific. So here's how it starts. It starts with a guy named Wayne Williams. He's black. So I'm like, all right, I'm in. Like, you got me. It's all it takes. Is he black? All right, I'll give it a shot. So his dad's a cop. He's killed. They're walking back to the hood from the grave, and they see a guy getting jumped by a dude named Hands, who's the local gangster. Now, what's crazy about Hands is he has strong hands. Exactly. He's named after his strong fucking hands. So he's punching a guy. That's all it took to get street cred and to be the top gangster, is have strong hands. Wayne's mom is like, hey, you should stop beating up that guy. And then Wayne is like, nah, keep beating him up. Mom, don't worry about it. Because he's like, hey, Mom, that's Hands. You don't want to get fucked up. Like, you don't want to get caught up in that. So that's Hands. Leave him alone. Wayne, the next day, is at work at a local grocery store. He's stocking the shelves. He sees Hands walking with his girl, and he's like, damn, if I was badass like Hands, I'd get some chicks too, like verbatim. He's like, man, Hands gets all the girls by being called Hands with a Z. Hands with a Z. And not Hans, Hands, because he has strong hands. And yeah, looking back, it's like, how did I still think this was good? At the end of my notes, like right after, I was like, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh my God, that motherfucker's name was Hands. And people were scared of him. And he just throws punches and crushes people's hands. We'll get there. Wayne sees Hands walking with this chick, and Hands is like, wait a minute, there's a car screeching behind me. And a drive-by happens where they target Hands. Hands ducks out of the way. Hands' girl is frozen in fear. Wayne saves her, and then Hands comes up to him and is like, why are you touching my girl? He doesn't even care that he saved the girl's life. He's like, yeah, why are you touching her? And Wayne's like, I tried to save her life. And then Hands is like, you better mind your own business or else you're going to end up like your dad. And Wayne throws a punch. Hands catches it with his strong hands and starts crushing Wayne's hands as though to be like, now you know why they call me Hands. Every time I say Hands, my hands are up in like a pouncing position and I'm closing them up and down in case you want to see what's going on. You probably hear my hands opening and closing. But he's the big bad. The big bad is Hands. So Hands is like, yo, leave her alone. Mind your fucking business. Walks away while Wayne is clutching his hands. The next day, dude, I'm going to say Hands like 90 times in this fucking podcast. The next day, Wayne's at work and robbers come in to rob the place. And they're like, good job, Wayne. And Wayne's like, yo, I don't know what you're talking about. And Wayne's boss is like, you set me up. And then Wayne's like, yo, wait, that's Hands. Because he has like yellow gloves. So then Hands shoots Wayne's boss and then knocks out Wayne. This ends up putting Wayne in jail. Like they framed him for this crime. That's all it takes. It's circumstantial evidence at best. And there's no real proof. But he went to jail. And he's like, man, I got to get my revenge on Hands. So he gets to jail. Start selling. People are like, you're a bitch because you're selling in jail. They're like, make me a dress. Or you're going to be a good wife. Like, that's an insult. You're going to make someone happy. It's very weird. And it's his first night there. He's looking out the window. He sees a flock of bats. And he's like, maybe I should count bats to go to sleep. Because that's fucking normal. People do that, right? People are like, let me count bats to go to sleep. Fuck sheep. Bats. And one of the bats comes to his windowsill and is now his pet. Like Ben. Like, Ben... the two of us, we look so fun. Except it's a bat. So he has a bat pet. The next day in jail, he's walking. People are like, you still a bitch for sewing. First day in jail? Imagine it's your first day in jail. Sewing would be the last thing you should do on day one. You keep your head down. You don't do anything. Anyway, he sees this old guy get bullied by this guy named Corgo. Korgo. I've never met anybody named Corgo. I don't know where the fuck they came up with that name. But Andy Kubert's art is good because he's a phenomenal artist. So it's an easy read if you just look at the pictures and don't read anything. So Corgo's big and he's bullying this old white guy. Wayne steps up and he's like, yo, leave him alone. Corgo knocks him the fuck out immediately. And the old guy's like, yo, why did you stick up for me? And Wayne is like, it was the right thing to do. And then the old guy and Wayne become friends. The old guy's like, hey man, you're young. You can still work out and get jacked. And Wayne is like, yeah, you're right. I should work out and get jacked now that I'm in jail. This sewing thing, big mistake. Let me fucking work out. Now, obviously the reason he sews is foreshadowing. Anyway, we'll get there. We will get there. The guy that Wayne saved was a physicist and an inventor. Okay? Keep that in mind. Everything's so fucking rushed. I know it seems like I'm all over the place, but this is the book. It's just all over the place. Wayne gets jacked as fuck, and his buddy, old guy, actually turns out to be his neighbor. He's like, hey, I have a bunch of patents. I'm really an inventor. Anyway, I'm gonna get released. He gets released. He's like, Wayne, when you get free, look me up. Like Shawshank. Look me up. I'll help you out. So dumb, so quickly moving, makes zero sense. Anyway, we're back in Hans' penthouse, and his girl... same girl. She's feeling regretful for what they did to Wayne. She tells Hans, I feel bad for that Wayne kid. It's not fair. You set him up. As though Hans is going to be like, you're right. Let me go turn myself in. I'm a crime lord because I have strong hands. I don't even think they say that they're metal. He just has big ass hands. So dumb. But he essentially tells her to shut up. And he's like, yo, leave me. He's like, no, we are in a penthouse. We got money. Why do you want me to throw this away for this guy who saved your life? Come on, get with it. By the way, it's weird that he's a crime lord, evil person, doesn't care if his girl gets shot, still with her throughout all this. Like, took her from the rise, from beating people up in the streets to a penthouse, stayed with her. Just the monogamy of Hands has to be studied. Pretty impressive. Next, we cut to a group of hooded guys, not clan hooded, but like skulls hooded, Illuminati type secret thing, in a catacombs, chanting, and their leader is saying, now it's a time to find vengeance. We will find vengeance. And he presses a button, and the prison doors open. The prisoners are free. How does this guy have the button to jail? I don't know. He just does. It doesn't get explained. Never fucking gets explained. He just does. So Corgo, the old man puncher, rallies the troops and is like, hey, we gotta fucking break out of here. Let's kill all these guys. Wayne, of course, the sewer, now jacked, is against it. He's like, yo, it's a bad idea. They got guns. Let's just chill. Let's chill. Corgo's like, fuck that. We're getting out of here. So he goes to the warden's door, punches it, breaks it. They don't really show how Corgo gets to the warden's door. I've never been to prison. Seen a lot of movies, seen a lot of Scared Straight. The warden's office is never just like right there, right? They usually have to go through a lot of metal gates and buttons that get pressed like, meh. I know they opened it, but also I feel like the warden's door is never wood. It's some sort of steel. Because that's like their last line of defense. Call me crazy, but I just don't think it would be cardboard. The dude punched it and then grabbed a piece of it to try to stab the warden. Wayne beats the shit out of all of them. He just beats him down. And because of this, he gets a pardon. That's all you need to do, is just get a pardon. It reaches the newspaper, even reaches Hands. Hands' girl, maybe wife at this point, gives him the newspaper and is like, hey, this Wayne guy's gonna get free. Hands is like, shit, we gotta kill him as soon as he gets out. Wayne is out. He's walking up to his old apartment and he has a little cage with him. What's in the cage, you ask? His pet bat. Totally normal. Nothing to see here. Where do you even get the cage from? They don't give cages in jails. No one leaves jail and is like, here's a terrarium. But anyway, he has a bat. Fucking weirdo. And he's like, hey, I need to change my identity because I'm worried about Hands. God, every time I say it, I'm just thinking, man, I can't, again, you thought this wasn't that bad. This might ruin my entire credibility for this show. Every time I try to argue comics with people now, they're going to be like, yeah, well, for a second, you thought Stan Lee's version of Batman wasn't terrible. It, in fact, is terrible. So, Wayne changes his identity. He shaves his head, has a mustache. All it takes. Looks like Ving Rhames. It's either Ving Rhames or Delroy Lindo from Baby Boy. I think it's Delroy Lindo, right? Fuck, let me see. God, now I gotta look it up. I took a quick break to look it up. It is Ving Rhames. Baby Boy, great movie. He's now wondering, what do I do with my life? He's sitting on a chair, watching wrestling. His bat's on top of the TV. What do you think is gonna happen? He puts two and two together. Let me be a wrestler called Batman. Ba ba. Yes, that's how he comes up with being Batman. He has a pet bat and he likes wrestling. This is so fucking bad. Since he spent all his time sewing, he makes his own costume to be a wrestler. This costume, again, is the most realistic fucking bat you've ever seen, even with the wings. And as a wrestling fan, you can't wrestle in that. These wings were enormous. Like, it's about half the size of the ring were his wings. And he just walks into a wrestling gym, because that exists. Not a wrestling school, but a boxing gym type thing. But they were doing pro wrestling. And it's like, I want to wrestle your best guy. And the guy's like, you are a man in a bat suit. Everybody's training there in shorts and wife beaters, committed to this gimmick. This is full kayfabe. I am a bat. So he wrestles and he beats up the best guy. And the shady promoter is like, I can make money with this Batman. And he does. Batman becomes the most popular rich wrestler of all time. No, and Hands doesn't know that Batman is in fact Wayne. Wayne/Batman is perching on the top of a skyscraper looking at Hands' penthouse. It doesn't say how he found out where Hands lives or anything like that. The detective work of Batman, you see none of that. That's what made Batman who he is, aka the world's greatest detective. This guy clumsily becomes Batman, randomly finds out where Hands is staying, and he sees Hands' penthouse. He's like, it looks impenetrable. If only I knew an inventor. Oh, wait a minute. The guy I was in prison with. So he goes and finds the old guy. Now, does he knock on the door? No. He bursts in through the window. And he's like, do you know who I am? And the old guy's like, you're Batman. You're the world champion. Everybody knows who you are. And he's like, no, do you know who I am? Takes off his helmet. Like, it's me, Wayne. I need your help to get vengeance. And the old guy's like, I can't leave. I got this job I got out of jail. And Batman's like, well, no, you work for me now because I'm a famous wrestler. I can pay you. Do you see how shittily and lazily everything just comes together? Anyway, he's like, hey, inventor, I need you to make modifications to the suit as quick as you can for as much money as you need. He's selling a lot of merch. I know way too much about wrestling. One of the ways they make a lot of money is they sell merch. I don't know how many of you like wrestling. That's how they do it, is they get a shitload of money from merch if they're popular. Anyway, Batamania has been running wild. Next, he's fighting hands. That's how quick this fucking thing goes. And as he's fighting hands and his goons, he narrates the modifications that were made. We get shot, and he's like, thankfully, the inventor built in Kevlar. It works. And he gets hit in the head with hands, punches him with his big-ass hands. And he's like, if the inventor didn't add padding to this helmet, I'd be cooked. They're on the balcony of the penthouse. Hands charges him, and Batman does like a monkey flip where you grab the guy by his shoulders, put your legs essentially on their torso, and roll back so you can push him up. It's a wrestling term because he's a pro wrestler. Hands falls off the balcony, killing him because Batman kills. Not a detective, but kills. Also, Batman also created all his own stuff, right? He was like super fucking smart. This one isn't really that smart, but Stanley's writing him. He's like, hey, this is the new Batman, pro wrestler with the shitty wrestling costume. Hans' girl is there still, probably now his wife, and she's devastated. And Batman's like, don't worry, I'll take care of you. And that's the end. The epilogue is the secret group now wants to target Batman. And that's how that ends. Now, did Stanley write another one of these so you can see it? No, he didn't. Was there ever plans to? No, not at all. C essentially hired him to write 13 one-shots of popular characters. Like Stanley imagines Superman. Stanley imagines The Flash. I might do The Flash one because I like The Flash. That seems fun. He left it on a cliffhanger, sets up this fucking evil group, but gives us a shitty villain. And then his name was fucking Hands, man. Hands. His name's Hands. My overall thoughts. A lot of you are like, Atif, why would you read something you hate? First of all, I didn't know I was gonna hate it. I went into this thinking this might be bad, but like fun, might be mindless. And it was for the most part until I started putting it together. And I was like, dude's name was Hands because he had big hands. Thank God he wasn't like, he didn't have like metal toes. They would have called him Toes. With a Z, you better watch out for toes. No. His name was fucking Hands because he had strong hands. And the reason why I read this, because this is like one of these comic books that people would be like, you never read Stan Lee's version of Batman? And I'd be like, nah, man, like, no. I didn't. I like regular Batman. Also, again, this came out in 2001. Early 2000s, Stan Lee had some fucking terrible ideas. Stripperella? Do you remember Stripperella, who was a stripper/superhero cartoon that Pam Anderson voiced? That was 2003. This was that era, okay? So yeah, I wasn't gonna go back and read fucking Batman because someone was like, it's interesting. Also, no. If a comic book guy or fan, comic book fan, person, whatever, is like, this book is interesting, it's fucking bad, right? It's bad, but they want to have someone to talk to about it with. They're like, you should read this book, it's interesting. Don't fucking do it, man. Don't do it. If someone's trying to set you up on a blind date and they're like, hey man, fucking Pam's got this friend. Is she cute? Nah, but she's interesting. She's not cute. Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. Interesting is never, it's rarely good. So yeah, this was bad. The art was good. The artist is great. Andy Kubert's great. That's another thing, is DC fucking, when they gave him this project, they gave him top tier artists. Because I mean, he's Stan Lee. Right? You have to. Also, I'm not trying to shit on a dead person. Okay? I'm not. I hope it doesn't come across this way. I'm just kicking the dead while they're down. This is just a very bad piece of work. And that's it. People will be like, Atif, what have you done? I know I wouldn't have done this. I could tell you that much. It might not be notable. I am creative. I would not have done this. As a wrestling fan, wrestling in a bat costume with fucking wings, with the wings out, not retractable, but just out, already you can't do that. That's a foreign object on your back. That is Just Imagine Batman by Stan Lee. The recommendation to read something that's good, that's current, is Ultimate Spider-Man. It's the new Jonathan Hickman universe, Ultimate Universe of Spider-Man, and it's great. It's Spider-Man. Spider-Man has like his perfect life. Doesn't know, how do I say this? Okay, so this Ultimate Spider-Man is great. It's in Jonathan Hickman's Ultimate Universe. After doing some research, I don't know how I missed this. This Ultimate Universe was supposed to be created by Donny Cates, right? Donny Cates, famous for his fucking Venom run, right? He's so good. He's so good. But he was in a car accident and lost 6 months of his memories. So they handed it over to Hickman. And Hickman is a phenomenal writer. He's great, but I feel bad for Donny Cates now. But this Ultimate Universe is created essentially in the vision of the maker's evil Reed Richards, who leaves the main Marvel universe, creates this universe where he essentially takes out all the superheroes or makes sure that they don't become superheroes. He makes sure Peter Parker never gets bitten by the spider. He has like his own Illuminati of just top evil guys. And this Ultimate Spider-Man, it's where Spider-Man essentially becomes Spider-Man in his late 20s, mid 30s, when he has a family with MJ. He has a perfect life. Uncle Ben's still alive. And it's just so fucking good of Spider-Man now as a parent. Finding out his powers late, doesn't really know his own strength, still trying to figure it out, but also juggle a family, and it's so good. The Green Goblin's a good guy. Ultimate Spider-Man is what I recommend. So yeah, that has been Sus Stories. I'm Atif Myers. Thank you for listening. If you have any suggestions, any questions, hit me up on Instagram. I deleted my Twitter because I don't like Nazis. And I don't know, I'm on Blue Sky. I have 0 followers on that because I don't, who uses Blue Sky? I don't know. So hit me up Instagram, Blue Sky. If you want to email me, let me know. I'm on Discord. And yeah, just give me your suggestions, or if you're like, hey, this book's crazy, you should check it out. I will. Anyway, that's been Sus Stories. Thank you, and just have a good time. Have a good time. Thank you, and peace. What the fuck am I saying?